So now we're going to move to the next playoff game between the Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers. Now in game 1, the Boston Celtics hit a miracle 3 by Jaylen Brown in the corner after just turnovers, costly turnovers by Siakam, Haliburton, costly turnovers. And Jaylen Brown ends up hitting a 3 in the corner to send it to overtime. And Jayson Tatum just took over in overtime, and that's how they took game 1. Now, in game 2, this was a whole different story. It was all Jaylen Brown, led by him with a 40-point performance, and they end up winning 126 to 110. But the Celtics was up by as much as 19 points. But the Pacers, they kept it close. They were down by 6. At one point, it was 66 to 68 in the third quarter. Boston was up with 7 minutes and 46 seconds to go in the third quarter. They were in this game. Yes, they lost by 16. Yes, there were times where they were down by 19. But they had this game close. They really did. Like I said, Jaylen Brown had 40 points. Drew Holiday played okay with 15 and 10. He was playing good defense. Derek White had 23. Jayson Tatum had 23, but don't just look at the numbers. Jayson Tatum still hasn't stepped up and been the best person in this series. He didn't play all that good in game 2. Now he stepped up in game 1 in overtime, but before then it still wasn't all Jayson Tatum that we know. So in game 2, he was real quiet. It was a quiet 23 points. And Tyrese Haliburton for the Indiana Pacers left the game with a leg soreness, and he did not return. And the status for game 3, as I'm recording this video, is unaware. Pascal Siakam had 28 points, but he had 26 points in the third quarter, and he only had 2 points in the fourth quarter. Miles Turner, he only had 8 points. He was in foul trouble. He had 3 fouls in the first half. The same people that were stepping up for the Pacers didn't step up. Obviously, Nesmith didn't step up. Miles Turner didn't step up. Haliburton ended up leaving. Obi Toppin had 11. Shepard had 7. Nembhard had 16. But if they don't get Tyrese Haliburton back, this series is most definitely over. I personally feel like the series is already over because game 1 for the Indiana Pacers was probably their best shot at taking a game. And they needed that game. But it was costly turnovers when it mattered most. By Haliburton. Haliburton sold the game. Pascal Siakam, turnovers. It was just turnover city when it mattered most. And especially in overtime, they were turning the ball over like crazy. This game, it just felt like Jaylen Brown just couldn't miss. It felt like Jaylen Brown just couldn't miss. He got whatever he wanted on the floor. Whether you put Haliburton on him or anybody on him, Jaylen Brown was getting exactly what he wanted. My whole thing with the Boston Celtics, like I said, they won by 16, but it was a 2-point game at one time. Most of this game was cut in single digits. It was down by 6, the Pacers. They were down by 7. They made it to a 2-point game in the third quarter. The Celtics, it's so crazy with the Celtics. Record-wise, they're the best team in the league. The best team in the league. That's what they were. I think they were 63-18. They're the best team in the league, record-wise. There's some games where they don't play like they're the best team. They be lax on defense. There were times in this game where they were just lax on defense. And they were just letting guys, Nembhard, Siakam, they were just letting guys just shoot. They were just letting guys just get to the paint. Sometimes you'll get the Celtics team where they're the best in the league. They're just dominating the other team. But then you get this type of Celtics team where they play lax on defense. Jayson Tatum don't want to show up. Jaylen Brown maybe don't want to show up. And it's you don't know what Celtics team you're going to get. They're so talented, especially with Derek White, Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench, And obviously with Drew Holiday, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and they don't even have Porzingis, but imagine if they had Porzingis. They're talented. It's just sometimes the Celtics just don't play like they are the best team in the league and they have that talent. And that really concerns me, not against the Pacers, because I feel as though the Pacers never even had a chance to beat the Celtics anyways. But if we're talking about the Western teams with the Mavericks or the Nuggets if they would have won or the Timberwolves, those teams, they can take full advantage of the Boston Celtics if they don't play their A game. Jayson Tatum is going to have to be the best player against those teams. He hasn't even had to be the best player within this whole playoff run against the Heat. He didn't have to do that. Against the Pacers, he didn't have to do that. And against the Cavaliers, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to be the Jayson Tatum that we know. He could just be maybe get 25. He not playing as well like we know, and they can just slide by because the teams that they played, they're not as talented as the Celtics. They just aren't. But when you go up against these teams in the West, it's different, especially the Timberwolves or especially the Nuggets. And now for sure against the Mavericks. So it's like, you don't know what Celtics team you're going to get. And that literally throws me for a loop because if you're the best team in the league, play like you're the best team. Play like you're the best team. Don't be lax on defense. Don't just let the Pacers just hang around when you know that you can just blitz the Pacers. You know that you can beat them by as much as 20. You were up by as much as 19 points. So why keep the game close? Why even let them get the game to the point to where it's a one-possession game in game one? And if it wasn't for a couple of turnovers, the Pacers would have took game one. It doesn't make sense to me. The Pacers is nowhere near a better team than the Celtics. They don't even have the people that even compare. Tyrese Haliburton, I still don't think that he is like that. He is a good player, but I don't think that he's like that. But he was playing good in game one. He was playing good in the Knicks series, game 7. He's been playing good. I will say that. I will say that. Tyrese has been playing good. But he doesn't compare to Jayson Tatum. Pascal Siakam don't compare to Jaylen Brown. And overall, the team that the Celtics have, you should be able to just blitz these teams. Every single opponent that you've played, you should be able to blitz them. You beat the Celtics in 5. You beat the Heat in 5, my bad. So you got to at least, especially now with Tyrese Haliburton, probably depending on how severe his leg soreness is, he may not play game 3. You got to take at least one game on the road. I feel like the Pacers is going to get at least one game, though, whether it's game 3 or game 4, but they're not going to take a game in Boston. I don't see them having a chance on taking a game in Boston, especially if the Celtics can step up and play how Boston Celtics know how to play. If you play like a Boston Celtic, you should blitz the Indiana Pacers, for sure, for sure. And like I said, this is championship or bust. Championship or bust. You make these moves. You get Drew Holiday. You get Porzingis. You got to make a finals, and you have to win it. If you don't win this finals, it is literally clear path for the Celtics to win this finals. You don't have the Nuggets to worry about no more. You can beat the Timberwolves, even though they have more depth. You can beat them. You can for sure beat the Dallas Mavericks. It is now up to you, Boston. If you just make just one mistake, and don't win this finals, oh yeah, it's going to be some changes. It's going to be some changes because it's literally, the door is wide open for you. The door is wide open. I don't know how much more you need on this team. I don't know how much more you need on this team, and you can't capitalize and win this finals. So you better win. We know, everybody knows that the Celtics is going to beat the Pacers. The Pacers are just outmatched. They just are. No matter how their bench is, and they have a pretty good bench. T.J. McConnell, Obi Toppin, Ben Shepherd. They have guys on the team, but they don't even compare. They don't compare. And the Celtics, they're just too good of a team. They're too talented of a team to get in these close games, be in these positions where they can lose the game. It shouldn't be like that. The same way y'all won by 16, in the same way that you were up by 16, 15, 19 points, you got to maintain that. You got to maintain that because you're better than the Pacers. You are. You shouldn't let them hang around. I'm not saying that the Pacers aren't a good team. That's not what I'm saying. You're just on a whole different level than the Pacers. So I feel as though since you're on a whole different level, play like it. You only lost 18 games at home. 18 games, period. And I think only 5 games at home throughout the regular season. Play like that. Don't even put yourselves in that position. But the pressure is on Jayson Tatum. The pressure is on Jaylen Brown. The pressure is on this entire Boston Celtics team. If you do not win this championship, when it is literally clear path and destined for you to win it, it is going to be some changes. It's going to be some problems. I'm going to be livid if y'all do not win. I'm going to be livid because there's no way that y'all don't. But good win taking game 2 and being up 2-0 in the series. Like I said, I personally feel as though the Pacers is going to take at least a game. I don't believe that it's going to be on the road. It's probably going to go 5 games Celtics. I just don't see it, especially if Tyrese Haliburton doesn't come back. This series is over. It's over. Even if he was there, he probably may push it to 6 games. But now since he's not, there is no chance that the Indiana Pacers come back. There's no way. If they take both games at home, it depends on how they take it. If they take it in dominant fashion, like there is no way that they take both games at home. There's no way. I see the Celtics taking at least one of them and going up 3-1. So, good win for the Boston Celtics. Not in the fashion that I would have liked, but a W is a W.